Well, I should be. That's what we're supposed to do. Legislate.
Okay, I've got 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Andrea. Here. Ross.
Yes.
Sarah. Here. Eric.
Yes.
Jay.
Yes.
Nancy. Here.
Okay, everybody should have received a copy of the the August 5th, 2024 council meeting minutes. Any corrections or additions?
Make a motion.
I have a motion by Nancy to accept the minutes as distributed. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Andrea. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Everyone should have also received a copy of the August 19th Committee of the Whole meeting minutes. Any corrections or additions?
Motion.
I have a motion by Andrea to accept the minutes as distributed. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Sarah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Administrative reports. I have nothing at this time. We'll move on to the village solicitor's report.
One thing to report, the zoning matter that we went to court, Jim and I and the mayor, appeal was filed, the appeal was thrown out. I don't think any further action will be taken. The person who had allegedly violated the code had been found to violate the code, paid the fine, and is going to try and work his way through the process of seeking a variance for work that is already in. I'll have more to report if and when he properly files his request for a variance. Short of that, we have a lot of legislation. Alan sent an email on Thursday asking you all to take a look and read this. Most of the legislation we did talk about at the COW meeting. There's one she's recommending no action on, and that's Resolution 26. Most of this we've talked about, but does anyone have a question on, we'll go through them one at a time, 2411, the reinvestment area.
No.
Can you please make sure that we have, just for public record, a quick synopsis of each one, so that way everybody knows it, like just a little brief?
We have the ordinances available with the exhibits, and they're all public record, and they're posted online.
Okay.
I don't think any further explanation should be necessary. There's what you're voting on.
Okay.
Everyone should have received copies of all the ordinances in Alan's packet in his mailer on Thursday. If, when you receive this, if you don't understand the ordinance, or if we haven't discussed it in COW, pick up the phone and call. I'll go through any of the legislation with you. Going through it in a public meeting is tedious and kind of sets you back. If there's a specific question on a specific ordinance that we have here tonight, let's go through them. But we spoke about 11. 12 is simply the agreement with K-Nova that we've been speaking about for many months now. I don't think there should be any questions on that. 13 is just amending the zoning code for street closures, which we discussed at the last COW. 14 is simply the amendment for the merchants, solicitors, peddlers, and itinerant merchants that we talked about at the last COW. 20, Resolution 23, 2024, simply to allow us to seek bids for refuse collection and curbside recycling. As we discussed, I believe that we captured everything you guys wanted in that legislation. If you have specific questions, let me know. Resolution 24 is simply a resolution dealing with the easement at the Rickenbacker Exchange Business Park that, as Alan mentioned in his email, the attorneys have been going back and forth on, and we finally nailed that thing down. And then 25 is just to execute the termination and release of the park maintenance, which, once again, the attorneys have been working on, and it's pretty much nailed. You got second readings tonight for the solar ordinance. You all should have received an email from Alan which a constituent sent in concerning the
Yes.
uh, solar code. Hope you got to take a look at that. And you also have a second reading for the hiring of the magistrate for mayor's court. We've not had a magistrate for close to a month now. We've got to get someone in here so we can get things up and running.
Right.
Paula and Wendy have done yeoman's work to move things around. I've been down here without a magistrate to get as many of the cases settled as we can so as to avoid any prejudice to the police force and or the village. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Does anybody have any questions at this time for the solicitor?
Do you want me to hold my questions till we get to the? That's what I thought.
Okay, moving on, police chief's report. Chief, do you have anything for the council this evening?
I'll have your monthly activities put together, sent out prior to the council meeting, so you have those to look at. The only thing I'll add is it's our second week of the 2 new officers that's working through. So we did all the administrative, or most of the administrative stuff last week as far as them going over for the policy manual, things like that, discussing payroll and things of that nature. This week, we're concentrating on getting their weapons qualifications done, certifications with Hayes or other equipment that we use on the department. You have confirmation tonight for one officer, which I gave a recommendation to the mayor to retain Officer Bymore. And that was all of that.
Does anybody have any questions for the chief at this time?
Chief, how often are we letting our guys shoot? Are we providing ammo for them to shoot?
So the state bare minimum, they have to shoot qualification course yearly. Right now, I don't have a firearms instructor on the department. We've got a neighboring agency that's helping us with that. So they did our qualifications at the last time earlier this year when we did it. We'll be sending them off for night shooting as well coming up for continuing training. Also, all the officers will be coming back in and redoing weapons, rifle qualifications. We did recently purchase new rifles for the department, which are AR-15 style rifles. They'll be placed. Every car will have a village-issued rifle in it. So with the incoming of the new weapons, they'll all be going through further training with that. So I try to get them out at least twice a year to go shoot. If they're going to go shoot on their own and they wish to use their duty weapon, I will supply them department ammunition as well to go practice on their own. Some of them take advantage of it more than what others do. I mean, within reason, I'm not going to hand them 1,000 rounds to go play for the weekend, but they come to me, hey, Chief, I want to go to the range. I want to do some practice on my duty weapon. Yeah, I'll give them a couple boxes of ammunition so they can go do that.
All right, thank you.
Anything else for the chief? Okay, moving on, we have the village administrator's report.
Just a quick synopsis or stating where we are as far as the wastewater treatment plant. Once again, capacity is 430,000. For the month of August, we averaged 337,000. So a little bit of cushion there. On the water treatment plant, we have a capacity of 1 MGD, million gallons per day, and we average for August was 560,000. We did have some 700,000 gallon a day, all sodded and so forth going on.
You bet.
So we're bumping up against that million gallon and just having to be kind of careful how we go about it. But I want to keep you informed if it affects any of your decisions on anything, you know where we stand on utilities. Remember, tonight is the fogging, skin fogging. So everybody's aware that that's going to happen tonight. Should be somewhere around 9 o'clock, I believe is what they told us. So that shouldn't take long and I'll be pretty quick. The new wastewater treatment plant, it's moving right along. And if anybody's had a chance to go out there and just drive down Kenmore Boulevard and look to the east, it's pretty impressive layout right now.
Yeah.
We're getting into the fun part, if you will, fun part for an operator, on how we're actually going to make it work. It has to marry with our existing plant and the new plant. We're going to make sure that all the SCADA controls, the computer, everything will allow the superintendent, his department out there have maximum flexibility to make this happen.
Yeah.
So we're starting conversations with the folks that make that happen. And Jim's giving a lot of input on how he'd like to see it come together, and that's the exciting part. We've got tanks and stuff out there, so it is all coming together. Exciting. Less exciting news, as you're aware, and I've kept you up to date, I think, on the new well field. We did drill some wells out there, and we weren't fortunate.
No.
We got very little water. We're looking for sand and gravel aquifer, and it wasn't there. So that's becoming a critical issue, and the mayor and I have had some conversations, and we got some other directions we want to go, but it's something we just have to keep moving ahead to get that additional capacity. We were looking for serious water. 500 gallon a minute just wouldn't do what we need to be in 1,000, 2,000 gallon a minute well fields to really accomplish what we want to accomplish. So we're looking for a pretty major source of water. But that's ongoing. I'll plan to keep council up to date as we go through. When we start on the new things, where it's at, and those kind of things. So if you have any questions or about it, you can give me a call anytime or email me, whatever. I'll try and provide information back to you. And that's everything I had on my report. Mayor, if you have any questions, I'd try to entertain them.
I just want to say I've seen the signs, the speed limit signs up and children to play, and Mike's been out there doing the crosswalks, which people are appreciating. I just had a question about, is he going to do the one at like Main and Scioto here?
I think he's gonna do all of them. I drove through town, saw a couple, not that he missed, but I want to make sure he gets them, so
Okay.
I'll make sure that's on the list. Yeah.
And on that, when you cross over there by the Hawk,
Okay.
I don't know why there's a lot of gravel there. Like, I don't know if we put it there, but
Oh,
it's-
inside, the inside
Yeah.
trim.
It was to fill that, where the trucks drive.
well,
Remember
it's
you
not
guys,
doing a
because of all
very
the
good
mud.
job.
Okay.
It's all over the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And I know, like with the stop bars, I know, like I talked to Rob, when just drives the truck, and at least on this side, he said if the stop bars were back a little further, it would kind of help the semis going that way, which is what we had the problem on the other side with that concrete. Now, I don't know what we could do to alleviate on the other side. I don't know if there's anything we can do,
Let
but.
me look at that and talk to Mike and see what kind of solution we can have.
Okay.
We can also, at least in the next week,
Roundabout.
get some of that loose
Well,
stone.
it's mostly just on the sidewalk. I mean, it's not on the street, but
Okay.
I'm just like, where did all that gravel come from?
Yeah.
So I talked to Mike.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, and he said, not knowing what he's allowed to do and what the state can do, I mean, short of widening or pushing everything back, that gravel, because I asked him because it's blocking the ADA mat, and every time he moves it, 2 days later it's right back.
I don't know why it got there in the first place. I mean, we've
Because there was
never,
a big hole there.
Yeah.
There was a big hole and cars were actually cutting and
Yeah.
falling. But the problem is every time we fill it up, the cars keep getting,
Right.
everything gets closer,
that's
closer,
why I think
closer.
it was kind of a,
It's no win.
Yeah, we can
And no
make
win
a
with that.
huge intersection approach there if we wanted to, but I'll look at it and
Yeah,
find out.
that's
The
what
only
I'm
thing I
sure
could do,
is-
If I knew where the trucks were going, if they're going like to Rhonda Homes or DR Horton or something like that, I could leave on the truck driver a little bit, maybe have another load.
there's a lot of trucks that go
There
through
are a lot of
there.
trucks, but they're going somewhere.
Yeah, right,
If I can find out where that is, I can lean on the developer to do something.
right.
And they're putting as much stone on the truck as they can. That's where it's spilling in.
You have something to say, sir?
So I actually go around that curve a lot. And that curve is manageable the way it is if you take time and let that intersection clear. You could put delineators up there instead of gravel and force the drivers to actually do what you're supposed to do. Because I've sat there a few times and let the cars leave.
Yeah.
I can take a 53-foot trailer around that curve.
And that's
So
right.
that's fine, no problem. It's just, it's laziness on the drivers. That's all.
Well, good point. The delineators might be something to look at as long as we drive over.
Okay, what are those?
The yellow plaques.
Oh, the ones that stand up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you can put those up, but like you said, the people don't take their time to do it. How many times has that telephone or that electric pole
Yes.
right there in the corner just been tore up and damaged? That's the biggest delineator you're gonna have, and they seem to keep taking it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. You can't fix stupid. And that's all it is.
I'll look at and see what
Okay.
options we might have.
After that remark, you mean?
Yeah. Thanks, John.
Thank you. Moving on, village engineers report. Susan?
Let's see, so really things have been rather quiet. So we are working still on punch lists with developers and contractors. So with the industrial park, I know we have submitted the punch list for the on-site. So our Kenmore Boulevard, Commercial Point Parkway, it was pretty small. There wasn't a lot that needed to be addressed. We're in the process of putting one together for the off-site improvements. So on 762 and 104, the turn lanes. So going back, now that it's been a year since they were constructed, going back, looking at them, making sure there's no issues, and they are as they should be. And we've already submitted the punch list for the previous phases of Foxfire. Those are almost complete. Walker Point, we just submitted that probably maybe 2 weeks ago. Their punch list, and then also Scioto Crossing. And in terms of construction, we do still have Foxfire. It's phase 3, part 2. That's still an active construction site, moving along, coming along well. I guess any questions for me?
Only question, we still do, the punch list, is it still engineer, administrator? I mean, you have 3 people or 4 people that go out and,
Who's preparing those? So we have Nathan, who is the
Okay.
on-site inspector.
got it,
He's out there while they're building it, so he's our
Yep.
eyes and ears. So he's a participant, Mike Struckman, and Jim Mascara. And usually Jim brings up 1 or 2 people from his department, from the water sewer department, to look at all the manholes, all the curb boxes, and yeah. And then they
thank you.
funnel that to me, and I compile and give it to the developer.
That's what I wanted to hear, thank you.
On Welch Road, back in, I think it was February, I had asked the administrator, and you said you looked at the lanes that could be turn lanes going into each of the chestnuts. They're there, but they're not marked, and you said you would check into those to see if they meet, and we could go ahead and make those official turn lanes. I know that's way down on the list. I just wanted to ask if maybe I could rekindle that and see if we could get that done before winter.
Chestnut Commons.
Commons and Estates, they both have a wide section that looks like it was supposed to be a turn lane.
But it's got a solid white.
Yeah, it's a solid white line because I think when the county did that road, they just went straight down
Okay.
and there's no turn arrow.
It should be.
And you had said you'd check and make sure that all that meets, that we could even do that. Just that way, if we do have a bad winter, it gives people, somewhere to go so they're not slowing down. And with projects coming up and the potential of having a driveway over 146 feet, maybe it would clear the way a little bit
Sure.
for people
yes.
coming.
Which that direction of travel for the right turn lane, the little extra asphalt, so that would be 35. So
Correct.
it's-
Yeah, 55 on the north
It's
side.
in the village, right?
35.
Okay, on the north side. And then the county side, of course, is 55.
Correct.
But ideally, those folks are traveling westbound at 35. So I will check to see the amount of asphalt that's present, if that meets the design standards for that right turn lane to get over and into the subdivision. Okay,
Thank you.
I will do that.
Do we have any other questions for the engineer at this time? Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Next is the zoning administrator's report.
I don't have a report tonight. I'll go ahead and have one for the committee of the whole meeting, but if there's any questions that you want to ask, anything, I'll be glad to try to render some of those answers.
Any questions for the zoning administrator at this time?
I'll have a zoning director.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Fiscal officer's report. Do you have anything for council?
I just got my budget numbers, so I'll start working on temporary budget.
Okay. With excitement.
Council have any questions for the fiscal officer at this time?
No.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. Moving on to legislative reports. Nancy?
Nothing.
Ross?
Yeah, just a reminder that, we represent the whole village, and it's a lot of developments, a lot of parks, and a constant reminder, every couple of weeks, get out and drive and see and talk to people. That's the best I can say. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah?
Nothing.
Eric?
I just have a couple things I want to introduce at the Cal meeting as far as possible new legislation. One will be for outdoor performances, and the other one is to, well, it would be one that's already in effect, but it has to do with the Old Town residential. To look at that classifications.
Zoning?
Yeah. Well, yes. I guess it would be zoning.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Audrey, do you have anything at this time?
Thank you, Nancy, for hosting the last farmers market on Saturday. I didn't get to attend, but I really appreciate all of your hard work.
You guys do hard work too. Thank you.
Okay, Jay?
No.
Okay, moving on down to committee reports, Parks and Recreation Committee. Nancy, do you have anything?
Yeah, for my part, I want to say like Andrea said, we had our last farmers market of the year. At times we were up to 60 vendors this year. We had a good turnout, I think, all summer. This month, everybody wanted fall stuff, so those people were really busy. I know when we have another event, October 12th is our Halloween event that we'll have back here. We'll have games for kids, bounce houses. Pick 'em Up Joe is donating those. Halloween contests, food truck. So it should be a good time. So that's October 12th from 12 to 2. I want to thank, there was last month I couldn't attend the food truck festival. I had something come up, and I want to thank, Paula, and I want to thank members from the Encounter Church that came over, put all picnic tables out for us. So we didn't have to worry about that. I want to thank Andrea for taking that on. She did a really good job from what I heard. And I appreciate, Sarah down on Saturday mornings helping me, and, we can get it done together. Is there anything you wanted to say about the food trucks since you were there?
I think it turned out really good. And I just appreciated everybody coming out to support it. It's a good community thing. Like Ross said, we need to make sure we're getting out and talking to the community. And those Parks and Rec events are great opportunities to get out and talk to the community and interact. I got to talk to a lot of people. It's a good time.
And we even have volunteers from our community.
I did, yes. I could not remember by the time I got home that 2 families stayed after and helped clean up. And if they're watching, I sincerely appreciate them. It was very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, and thanks, Ralph, for doing a good job on the music. I appreciated that it wasn't ridiculously loud and that it was a good variety. And it was just nice. It was very nice. Thank you.
That's pretty much all I had.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, I lied. Okay, I sent everyone an email. We wanted to add something to the Halloween event, and there's a place I think they're out of Mount Sterling that they will come and they will bring goats and pigs and whatnot, and they'll be dressed in Halloween costumes, and the kids can, feed them, pet them, whatever. They have waivers that everybody signs. I think that cost was about between $200 and $300. It may not even be that much, but I have plenty of money in my budget because we didn't get picnic tables this year. We didn't do some banners, lots of things we didn't do that we budgeted for. So I wanted to get council's feel on that. There may also be a possibility that I know Miranda Homes, I was approached at the farm market that they wanted to do something just like that, bring some goats to a community event and help raise funds for like a local charity or something. They would have waivers as well. So I could have one that I can pay for and one that I don't have to pay for, but both will have waivers, both will clean up after themselves. So I just wanted to get people's feel for that. If that was something that you felt was okay, I could go forward with.
And you said that would be hosted over at the park?
No, the Halloween thing's always back here.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have permission from the school.
Okay, cool.
So
I think it's fun as long as there's nothing prohibiting us, like insurance wise, from having to.
That's what
You
this business said, they do the waivers, so
Okay.
everybody signs it saying, hey, if you bite your finger off, it's on you. But,
That's a hungry goat.
yeah, so it's basically like we do with the farmers markets and stuff, we do the waivers. So,
I like it.
is that something that I need to do a motion for, or something just to kind of get?
Do you need a special permit for that, since we were talking about different permits? Just throwing it all out there,
It's a village event, so no.
just making sure. Well, because it has animals, so
Yes.
wasn't sure if there was anything extra.
So if everybody's okay with that, I know sometimes I do a motion, sometimes they just say that's fine, so I don't know which way we want to go here.
You're within your budget. You're not asking for additional
No.
funds.
Now,
You're fine.
okay. All right, thanks, guys. Now that is it.
Okay, moving on, Land Use Committee.
We did get together 2 Thursdays ago. We did have some community there. We just more discussed what the expectations of community would want from a land use and to kind of get a feel. We weren't a full committee. So tonight I would like to make a motion to have Ross Krigo replace the vacant seat, if that's at all possible. And then this Thursday at 5:30, we would like to meet again. If we could get that posted, please.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to have Ross fill the vacant seat on the Land Use Committee. Is there a second by Nancy? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Congratulations, Ross.
Well, thank you.
And condolences too.
And what date and time is the next meeting?
It's Thursday, so that would be the 12th at 5:30.
Will we have minutes from that posted online, kind of like our Parks and Rec one?
Yes, I was going to say, we want to make sure that once the minutes are approved at your second meeting, that you approve the minutes from your first reading or from your first meeting, and then get those to the office so we can get all that stuff posted and have a copy of it in the office. Okay, thank you. Up next is public comments. Signed up first to speak is Andrew Ong.
I was just waiting for, I didn't know if I decided, so I'm good here.
Oh.
You signed up, yes.
It's a rule. Okay, you're here. We're good. We know you're here and everything's good with that. Okay, then moving on, we have signed up as Ralph Holdren. Ralph?
My name is Ralph Holder. I live at 171 Rosewood Loop. Couple things I wanted to talk about tonight was I've been with the farmers markets and the food truck festival. I did the Halloween and Christmas last year, and I've seen how much the community loves that stuff. I've been watching online, haven't been able to make it work, but I heard talk you guys want to start charging vendors to show up at the farmers market. To me, that just seems ridiculous. They're there for the community. Those people don't make much money at all doing what they do over there. Some of them probably don't even make enough to pay $25 because a lot of them don't sell too much at all. But this is something free for the community where the people that live here love this stuff. It's not costing anything to put it on. It's all volunteer based. There's no reason the village needs to make money off of it. Just let it be. Let it go. Let these vendors do what they do and let the people of this town enjoy it. The second thing I'm here for was I was watching where it almost seemed like a tangent was thrown at one of the meetings. And a couple people held their breath and kicked their feet, and we are without the village magistrate. To me, it seems like the reason that was done was because of one of the issues that's up today with these solar panels. Me and you talked out there, and you told me that that was one of your good friends that's putting those solar panels in.
I said, it's a friend of mine.
Yeah, so
actually, run it.
We're actually not
Let me
supposed to talk.
finish talking. But even so, if it is a friend of yours, sometimes I feel like there's going to be a conflict of interest. And I want to make sure that this council pays attention to that. That if it's your friend, your brother, whoever, if you have ties to that, we need to make sure there's not a conflict of interest going forward. And the fact that we don't have a village magistrate is just ridiculous. You guys were elected to represent us, not personal agendas, not personal gains. I just can't, when I heard it, they had to completely cancel, restructure, court dates. I couldn't believe it. You guys, if that wasn't a personal agenda or a get back at something, that needs to stop. You need to look at the whole. Did we need that? Should that have been passed through? Yeah, it should. So going forward, I hope you guys please think about that and definitely pay attention to see if there's a conflict of interest somewhere before you guys vote. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Up next, we have under business items. The first item we have is we have an Officer Bynorth is up for council confirmation. As I sent a letter with my recommendation and it pretty well explained that as mayor, one of my duties is to appoint all police officers. I appoint them. They are on a probationary period per the ORC. And after 6 months of probationary status, then it's up for council to make a decision whether or not to confirm the officer or not to confirm the officer. I know things have been done a little different in the past. I'm not sure if the ORC was being followed to the letter, but moving forward, it will be. And as we sit here tonight, if we have an officer who's completed his probationary status, if council chooses to confirm him, then we will move forward and he'll become a member of the police department. If council chooses not to confirm him, even though my recommendation was to keep him, he is no longer a member of the Commercial Point Police Department. That's how I think the law, that was the intent of the law. I know in the past it's been continued because if a mayor and a council want to continue to play games, yes, council could not confirm him and tomorrow I could swear him back in. And you start the probationary period over again for another 6 months. And this could go on indefinitely. I don't think that's how the law was set up. I know before I was mayor, that happened a couple times. It's happened a couple times since I've been mayor. And I'm breaking the mold. We're getting out of that. We're going back to, I think, what the actual intent of the law is, which is I make an appointment, 6 months later, council, you confirm it or deny.
Thank you.
And I'm not here to play games with the council or anything else. If you deny his confirmation, then he's gone and we move on. I'm not going to come in tomorrow and reappoint him again.
Excellent.
So I just want to let council know that's my intent is moving forward. I think that's the intent of the law and that's how we will continue to conduct business here for now. So with that, all of that being said, Officer Bynorth has completed his 6 months probationary period. I have submitted to you over that 6 month probationary period. There were 4 evaluations. What we will, and all of you received a copy of each evaluation that was performed by the chief on him. What we are doing moving forward is we'll be doing a 60-month evaluation. I'm sorry, a 60-day evaluation, a 120-day evaluation, and a 180-day evaluation. That is what we're going to do, and we've just taken in 2 new officers. The chief and I discussed, and I said, I don't think we need to, we was discussing how many evaluations we wanted to do, and I said, I think every 60 days we do an evaluation while they're on their probationary period. At the end of that time, we present it to council. Also, during the probationary period, if there's any problems or anything, it'll show up in the evaluation, and it gives everyone a chance to see what's going on. With this, I have also submitted, not only did you get a copy of all the evaluations, the chief also provided his field training evaluation in the so you can see some of the training that he's already been through and what he has completed. So that is right now where we stand with this. And as I said, my recommendation is to confirm Officer Bynorth. So at this time, it's up to council. And I will ask, do we have a motion to confirm Officer Bynorth?
I have a question.
Question, sure.
Chief, as I heard kind of a conversation with you and Eric before the meeting, but I do see that, there has been some attendance issues. It says those were excused. Is this something, I know he came here from another department, is this something he had issues with at the other department?
So the department he came from previously, which is public record, he worked at Pickaway County.
Yeah.
He had some attendance issues there. I looked at him with a magnifying glass when we hired, did a lot of talking with, not deputies, but people that managed the sheriff's office, talked with them, their opinions, feelings on it. So yeah, he did have attendance issues. That's why he was let go of Pickaway County. That was the only real big issue that they had with him there. So when we hired him, I talked to him, said, listen, I know you had attendance issues. I'm in less of a capable department to deal with that than him having more folks on their department. Since he's been here, he's had 2 call-offs that both had to do with his kids. He does have some very young children. I believe 1 or 2 of them, I guess the right word, they were given birth while he was employed there, so I think that kind of contributed to some of the issues there as well. But since he's been here, he's had 2 days that he's missed. Both times he brought me a medical paperwork that showed where, that there was an illness where they actually went to the hospital and stuff. So yes, I have watched him with a fine-tooth comb. Keep in mind, I'll tell you, I'm probably one of the hardest people to work for on evaluation when it comes to evaluation time, because on evaluation, it goes up to an excellent. I don't recall, if I have, I can't remember ever giving anybody an excellent review, because I always feel there's always room for improvement. So probably me giving somebody a 3 is the equivalent to what's on that paper, honestly being a 4. So just keep that in mind when I do those.
Okay. And what kind of, I see on here that you want to continue with some training. And I want to say, I like the list, by the way.
Mhm.
I like seeing lists and seeing what they've done.
Mhm.
That's helpful to me. Is there I know you said in here you want to depend on him for additional roles. Do you have an idea of what?
So he's got, on this department, he's probably got 5 years law enforcement experience altogether. He has expressed interest in eventually wanting to get into like a supervisory position. He's very knowledgeable of reports. He's one of my better report writers on the department. Okay, not being a long report, but a concise report, what I need. He does a good job when he's out. He knows how to conduct himself on traffic stops. I've had a lot of people come in on 3rd shift that they almost get tired of seeing the cruiser drive by their house. So he's hitting the streets hot and heavy when he's out. He's getting stops in. He's doing what he needs to do. I would like to see him build his career, going forward. If he's wanting to look at getting into supervisory, I would like to help him get into that. Not just him, but with the other officers too. It's been hard to send officers to training because we've just been down officers. It's been the revolving door here, but now that with the recent 2 hires, we are back up to being fully staffed. I would like to take advantage of that time once they're put out on the road, send Officer Bynorth to some training, get ready to send Officer Howard to a training event in October. Just across the board, I want my officers to go get more training. We do have a training budget for that. Like I said, just due to staffing, I haven't been able to do that, and I want to get back on to being able to do that. With him, like I said, he's shown an interest in a supervisory role, a first-line supervisor, being a sergeant. I would like to see us help him be able to fulfill that. During his 6 months here, he's shown me the ability to do what he's supposed to do as an officer, and I am going to watch going forward to, see how he does. Matter of fact, while he was on probation, he helped train one of our other officers that we recently hired, Officer Barker. Those are the 2 officers that work 3rd shift. So, he has shown me the ability to do that. And I just think with his law enforcement experience he has, his prior military experience, I think he would be good to move into that role.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there any other discussion?
Does the officer, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Does the officer live in the near area or?
He currently lives in the Asheville area.
Okay.
One of his reviews, it said he misread the schedule and did work a shift he wasn't supposed to, or did not work a shift he was supposed to. I was confused.
He did work a shift that
So he was here more than he was supposed to, not.
yeah, said almost
Okay.
counters one of the days that,
Okay.
yeah, that was a mess, which our schedules are a little, I'll be honest with you, they're harder to read, and what I have to explain to people is you gotta read it to the letter, because our third shift starts at midnight. And so if I tell you, you work Monday through Friday, you're actually here Sunday night,
Right.
that's what threw him off. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
where he had a misread and misunderstanding of it. And he's not the first one that's ever done that here.
Right.
So,
Any other?
Based on the information provided, I would make a motion. We confirm Officer Pyth as a
Officer
full-time-
Bynor?
Yes, Bynor as a full-time officer.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to confirm Officer Bynor. Is there a
I'll
second?
second it.
We have a motion by Ross, a second by Eric. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. I appreciate council getting him confirmed. Can you pass that down? Can I get your signature on that, please, Nancy? Okay, up next, our next business item is the Belshazzar Street project. Susan, we discussed this briefly at the committee of the whole meeting, and council had some questions, and I said you'd be here at this meeting to go ahead and kind of answer the questions and fill them in on what we're looking at for this.
Sounds good. If you want, I can start with kind of an overview of what we were scoping, the improvements that we are anticipating. So with the overall project, we would start with Belshazzar, east side of the street, and then go north to Assyrian, to basically be the endpoints. It's maybe about 500 feet. It's not a large project. We would add curb and gutter, both sides of the street. Also sidewalk, improve the walks that are there, add what isn't. And then of course, storm sewer. So we would evaluate the existing storm sewer system, replace, add curb inlets along the curb and gutter, and add a new outlet just to the north of the Syrian where there's the swale, the creek there. So that's kind of the, I guess, the scope of the project. And of course, along the park, making sure we accommodate parking for food trucks there on the side of Belshazzar. That's also a big part of this. I know we discussed kind of internally about maybe wanting to pursue grant funding. There's OPWC, it's Ohio Public Works Commission, state funding. They fund infrastructure projects, roadway, water, sewer, storm. So we talked about maybe pursuing that as a potential funding source for this project. They have kind of like a funding matrix. There's probably a couple dozen items that you evaluate, and depending on where you fall, they give you a point. And so I went through that matrix with this project. I calculated about 100 points would be our score. I looked at last year's funded projects. The lowest number that received funding was a 132. Some of the opinion, this probably isn't a good project for that funding source. Some of the things that we lack, you get extra points if you're multi-jurisdictional. This project's only in the village. We're not involving the township or the county or anyone else. So you kind of lose points because of that. Also, the village actually has a high median income in comparison to the rest of the county. We lose points for that.
Probably.
Also the plans, they like to see your plans ready to go to bid. We haven't even started the project yet. And these grants are due the 1st of November, so you won't have completed plans by that point, so you lose points for that. Also, to get maximum points for the funding grant, $100,000 would be your cap. And in this project, we're looking at about $650,000. So you're just getting a small bite for, I won't say it's a lot of effort, but to not know that it's a slam dunk, I guess I recommend we not pursue that funding source. Maybe on another project, it'll make more sense. And then the last item, schedule. We talked to our team, the surveyor, the geotech, and of course we would be the design engineer. So we would be looking at ideally a preliminary plan submittal. That'd be January 1st. Final plan submittal in April, and then bidding in June 2025. I know you want it expedited, and I worked with the team to try to do the best we can, but that's where we're at right now with schedule. So you'd probably be looking at construction, say July to October 2025.
I really wanted to be around to see this, but I think Shedinger Norris was going to get here first. The one question I have about this is that the concern that I had was that right at the end of the bowling alley, at the alley, that has been the high spot, and it grades north and south from that line.
Okay.
And the one concern that I had was trying to eliminate that being the high spot, to use 762 as the high spot, because right now we had two very shallow drains just north of 762 East Soda Street. That I mean, it's 4 inches deep, one of them that goes underneath 762 and drains to the south from there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a weird configuration, and it looks very reasonable to consider everything from 762 north, going down toward Assyrian Street and going that way, instead of maintaining the contour the way it is, and it'd be help that whole area drain. So that was just a consideration that I had always looked at, and just wanted to make note that we see if we at least consider that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And when we obtain this field survey and we start to look at contours, we'll see probably just that, and we'll figure out how to capture that water and hopefully take it north. And I feel like we have plenty of fall to get there.
There certainly is. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
But, thank you.
Does council have any questions, other questions or anything for Susan? Are we, because I guess our next step will be, if council's good with this, and we'll put together some legislation.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I mean, we've been putting it off for many years now. So.
Well, and John checked, the first time this came up was in 2017, and council has denied. Every year we've discussed it. Every year it's been denied by the council.
Yeah, it was 350,000 then.
Yeah, it was 40,000 engineering and 350,000 for the project, and now you're looking, everything's double.
I know.
So is your estimation, is that on this year's numbers, or are you allowing for the possible 10 or 15% increase for next year in that 600 plus thousand?
We did an estimate, actually 2023, that was the 650. So I would inflate that number. However, though, the 650 included decorative lighting, which we've now taken out. That was about $50,000. So it'll still be about 650. That lighting is our inflation to get us to 2025.
Yeah, whatever we got to do to make it done in the 2025 calendar year, I'd be all about that.
Okay. Mike, you had a question, since you're a property owner on that street.
Yes, appreciate that. Our concern is we own where this big bank that we have tenants there. And if you're, no matter how far to the south or on this area, are you going to do anything there?
Probably just the approach. We wouldn't be traveling down to Syria.
Okay. Well, we have issues there. Our tenants having places to park because there's 4 feet around that building. And we've got a stylist, a lady in there that's got a job. And people come in there and have places to park too.
Okay.
So if you can consider those things, whatever you're trying to do there.
Would they utilize the parking at all?
Utilize everything around the bank.
Okay.
In the north. And over on the Doble west side too.
Okay.
So there's pretty easy 5 to 6 cars there at different times. Parking through the nights.
No, that's good to know. We can add plan notes and try to help accommodate during construction. We're not just tearing them all up and moving it. Taking forever.
I don't know how much of it. You have to look at that. And when this thing starts, we need to take a look, see how what the plan is. We'll get cut sheets. Good plans.
That is,
the old
post office is down there. So there's currently sidewalk
Hey,
there.
can we, one meeting? Go ahead.
Um, So we're wanting to add curb and gutter. So depending the condition of that walk, we can either saw cut out or curb and gutter, or if it needs to be replaced, we can do that also. So we'll evaluate, I guess, the existing conditions and then determine what needs replaced, what needs salvage.
Well, we're trying to work on getting it fixed up, because some of it's getting in bad shape.
Okay.
And I don't know whether it's going to continue, because it's quite expensive to deal with that. Or if the village is going to pay.
So right now, I know in our scope, we have to evaluate the sidewalks and determine what should be in the project.
So it might be in your best interest to hold off for at least till we get this part of it done, and we'll see exactly where we're at and what we're intending on doing. And then if we can even partner with Mike, and if he's got other stuff he wants to do, we know what we want to do, and maybe we work together and kind of get it all done at the same time.
Yeah, boy.
Because his sidewalk is a lot wider than
Yeah.
any of ours anyways, so
Yeah,
there's
he's
a lot
got
more
concrete
there.
from the street all the way back to the front of his building, where we'd be looking kind of like the width of a sidewalk, but it doesn't make sense to fix one little piece and not the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah, we'll need to talk about that. That sidewalk was put in at the request of the Postal Service
Okay.
in order to make it nationally handicap accessible. ABC and the handicap ADA, ABC, yeah, in order to meet those requirements. And the village at that time agreed to give up 3.5 feet of roadway
Right away.
in order to put that sidewalk in.
Okay.
So actually, right now, I mean, there's not supposed to be any parking. I mean, that was postal vehicles only. They would park in the front to loading and unloading, but there's not supposed to be any parking there along that part of it. So we really need to look at this whole thing and how it's going to impact that. Yeah.
That sounds good.
That's some good information to have.
Did we dedicate right of way, Ross?
I'm sorry.
Did we dedicate the right of way to the post office?
Yes.
Through legislation?
I was not involved on this side of it. I was postmaster then, but I wasn't involved. They just paid me to do a job.
Yeah. We'll have to pull that legislation.
Yeah,
for
because
these.
I have no idea what happened legislatively on that, because I was not on council at that time.
But when she pulls the record, she can pull
Yeah,
any
so
easements or
there's a little homework that we've got to do there.
I think maybe a good activity, once we get the survey,
Yes.
we can kind of lay things out. Maybe I come early to one of these meetings, and Mike, you want to come also? We just put it on the table and we can kind of talk about it. And figure
Yeah,
out-
absolutely.
make sure
Figure
we're
out
all
what
on
we
the
need to
same
do.
Very good.
Okay. Any more questions for the engineer at this point?
Actually, for like June, July, and possibly into August in that area, would that make the park pretty much unusable next year to not have people mess with the, I don't know where you'd be in the process. I don't know if you'd be at the paving, would you still be doing base?
So they would start with the pipe, any storm sewer would be first.
Mhm.
Depending on where that pipe has to fall within the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could inhibit
We'll figure something out.
use.
Yeah,
I
it's,
have another option. I have another option. So.
yeah, it's like when we get a little closer, when we get to that, get some firm dates,
Yeah.
then we can really nail
Yeah.
down what we
Nothing
need
ever
to do.
starts on time, so.
Okay,
Wonderful. Thank you.
okay, we're good. Thank you. I appreciate it, Susan. Okay, moving on, we have legislation up here for first reading this evening. Starting with ordinance 2024-11, amending ordinance number 2018-13 in order to remove certain area from community reinvestment area number 1 and establishing and describing the boundaries of community reinvestment area number 2 in the village of Commercial Point and authorizing and improving related matters and declaring an emergency. As we discussed committee of the whole meeting, this is where we're removing the Amazon property from CRA District number 1. We're creating a new CRA district consisting of the Amazon property and the Jan farm that was recently annexed. That is what this legislation does. This legislation was also, in fact, I had a meeting, John, Wendy, and I had a meeting with Amazon Friday. And we had a virtual meeting with them, and they was asking where were we with this, and they wanted to see a copy of this and everything else.
So to not hinder the moving with the new property owner, a motion to waive the readings on this.
Okay, I have a motion to waive the 3 readings on ordinance 2024-11. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ross to waive the readings. Roll call vote to waive the 3 readings.
Andrea? Yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed to waive the 3 readings. Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-11?
Motion.
Motion by Nancy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Audrea. Roll call vote to adopt.
Eric?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Andrea? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Motion passed. Up next for a first reading is ordinance 2024-12. An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the village of Commercial Point to enter into an agreement to amend the tax increment financing agreement with K-Nova and declaring an emergency. This is basically part 2 of the fiscal agreement. What you just passed was part 1.
Yeah.
So,
I'll make a motion.
we have a motion
To
by
waive the
Nancy
readings.
to suspend the 3 readings. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Sarah. Roll call vote to suspend the readings.
Ross?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Andrea? Yep.
Motion passed. Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-12?
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Eric. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Sarah. Roll call vote to adopt.
Jay?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Ross?
Yeah.
Nancy?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Andrea? Yes.
Motion passed. Up next for first reading is ordinance 2024-13, an ordinance to amend the zoning code of the Village of Commercial Point to repeal and replace section 1135.09 of the zoning code as the street closures and village property event permits. We have no emergency language on this, and basically there's no reason I can see to waive the readings on this at this time. So let the record reflect we did a first reading, title only. Next item up is an ordinance amending chapter 806 of the codified ordinances of the Village of Commercial Point. This is the peddlers, itinerant merchants, and solicitors. Let's let the records reflect we did a first reading. Not unless council wishes to waive. I don't see a reason to waive these at this time either, at this point. Okay, let the record reflect we did a first reading, title only. Up next is Resolution 23-2024, a resolution authorizing and directing the village administrator to seek bids for refuse collection and curbside recycling program for the village of Commercial Point effective January 1st, 2025, and for the administration to present the lowest and best bid to the village council for council's consideration and declaring an emergency.
Motion to waive the readings.
We have a motion to waive the readings by Nancy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Audrea. Roll call vote to waive the 3 readings.
Sarah,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Audrea. Yes. Ross,
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Motion passed. So I have a motion to adopt Resolution 23-2024.
No.
Okay.
Motion by Sarah. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Eric. Roll call vote to adopt.
Eric,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Audrea. Yes. Ross,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Motion passed. Up next is Resolution 24-2024, a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor and village administrator of the Village of Commercial Point to execute release from declaration of covenants and conditions and grant of easement for common fire pump system at Rickenbacker Exchange Business Park and declaring an emergency. This resolution, we did not discuss that at the previous committee of the whole meeting, but we have discussed it a couple months back. This pretty much takes up at the, they have a, I don't want to call it an HOA, but it's kind of like an HOA at the warehouse park consisting of everybody up there. This takes the village property out of the HOA.
Yes.
So we don't have to pay any HOA dues that they have or anything like that. We have 3 pieces of property that are up there in that area that has been given to the village over the past year. And this just takes us out of that part of the situation. The lawyers have been working on the wording on this. And if you notice, if you look through there at the exhibits, you got signatures from everybody. So this has been back and forth between all the property owners up there and their lawyers. And this has been going on for months and they finally reached an agreement. So at this point in time, do we have a motion to suspend the 3 readings on Resolution
Motion to
24?
suspend.
We have a motion by Ross to suspend the 3 readings. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nancy. Roll call vote to suspend the 3 readings.
Jay,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Audrea. Yes. Eric,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Motion passed. Do we have a motion to adopt Resolution 24-2024?
So moved.
Motion by Ross. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nancy. Roll call vote to adopt.
Eric,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Audrea. Yes. Jay.
Yes.
Motion passed. Next item up for first read is Resolution 25-2024, a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor and village administrator of the Village of Commercial Point to execute termination and release of park maintenance declaration and declaring an emergency. This is kind of like part 2 of what you just passed.
Yeah.
This one here, we did not discuss this at the previous committee of the whole meeting, but we did discuss it. It's been a few months back as well. This one, where we've just taken us out of the HOA, we currently have an agreement with K Nova, and they have it's a maintenance agreement for the roads and everything up there at the warehouse district, and they're to maintain. The biggest thing on that agreement, I believe, is the roads is 15 years.
Yes. Yes.
And this takes that responsibility off of K Nova, and it goes to another corporation. It's going to pick up the exact same maintenance agreement. And when we talked to them, John and I had spoke with the lawyers at Dinsmore, and our concern was, okay, K Nova's worked out an agreement for have someone to take over his responsibility. Well, the village has not seen the agreement, so we wanted to make sure our base was covered before we released Billy from this. And they do have the agreement. It's all put together. What will happen is that agreement, the company don't want to take it over until we release Billy from it and everything else. So it's all going to go to a title company.
Yeah.
It'll go to a title company.
That's-
They will hold Billy's agreement, or the agreement where the company is COI, Rickenbacker's taking over the responsibility from Billy. They will hold our agreement saying that we will release Billy from our agreement with him, and they will see that everything is signed at the same time.
Motion to suspend.
We have a motion to suspend the 3 readings by Ross. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Sarah. Roll call vote to waive the 3 readings.
Ross,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Audrey. Yes. Nancy.
Yes.
Motion passed. Do we have a motion to adopt Resolution 25-2024?
Motion.
Motion by Audrea. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nancy. Roll call vote to adopt.
Audrey. Yes. Sarah,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Jay.
Yes.
Motion passed. Okay, and as you can see with that one, it's similar with the one right in front of it. That had to go to all the businesses and everybody else and trying to get through that one. So that's why that's been 3 or 4 months in the making as well. Next item we have is Resolution 26-2024, a resolution approving the major site plan application for COI Rickenbacker Lot 5 LLC as to Lot 5 in Rickenbacker Exchange Part 3 development. With this one here, this is a major site plan was presented to the village. Andrew's here on behalf of Van Trust or COI Rickenbacker. And we have not discussed this in the committee of the whole meeting. They have presented some stuff to us. It will be, council will receive everything that they've, in fact, I'm not sure, did you put that in the council bins? The major site plan. Okay, so you do have that. I figured that will be on the agenda for the committee of the whole meeting. You can go through it and we'll look at it. Initially, if you've already looked at some of this, do you have any, I know we haven't, council hasn't discussed it. Do you have any initial questions since he's here this evening, or would you rather discuss this in the committee of the whole and then at the second reading, we can come back and we can go through everything?
Yes, please.
So this is just strictly an introduction to council this evening.
And this one, it really, it looks good. It provides more information than I thought we would get with this because it has a lot of back history with, including the maps and things, and a lot of, our council members haven't seen really what the whole ground looks like out there and what this is. Yeah, we've worked through this before, and it's been a pleasure to work with.
And it's not their first time at bat up here with the village either. This is the 3rd time they've presented a major site plan.
Yeah.
And considering the first one was sent back and missing stuff and this and that, and we're at the point now they've really smoothed out and they're giving us more than what we actually asked for.
Yeah.
So, okay, we'll discuss this. I'll put this on the agenda for the committee of the whole meeting.
Cool.
And we can look through it. And then at the next meeting, we'll do a second reading. And if you can have a representative here, whether it be you or somebody else, if they want to go through any questions or anything like that at that time. Excellent. Thank you. Let the record reflect we did a first reading title only on that. Okay, moving on up for a second reading this evening is ordinance 2024-09, an ordinance amending the zoning code of the Village of Commercial Point by adding section 1181.06 solar panels to the zoning code. The direct,
Discussion.
okay, sure.
We received the email from Mr. Fox, and I think he does have a good point. I wanted to talk to Bill about that, about the issue he had with the solely, if it's solely sold or just, and his explanation maybe why that we need a percentage gap on there. What are your thoughts on when you've done these?
Anyone can challenge anything when the legislation is passed.
Yeah.
I think that legislation accurately reflects what you all discussed and asked to be drafted. I'm not an elected official. I'm just a penman for legislation such as this. I think Alan accurately reflected everything that you all put in here. But there's a reason that there's 3 readings. And if you wish to amend it or make a motion to amend it, I'm more than happy to put down whatever you wish. The reason that we had it as solely was, Steve Eric said it, we don't want people coming in and just putting up solar farms.
Yeah.
And just buying land to put panels down.
Yeah, we don't want that.
And, Is there a better way to skin the cat? I'm open to anyone's suggestion. If you want to change the language, by all means.
How would we determine the percentage that's being used prior to it being built?
Well,
I mean, we can look at a major site plan, and if it doesn't look like the facility they're building isn't going to use, a decent amount, we can always decline the major site plan. I think we discussed in the Cal that the percentages thing could get it Bill into more litigation because our percentage could be figured on, AEP and theirs is something else. But I understand what he's saying, but I believe Bill or one of the two of them said this could be one that we don't want to over legislate.
Yeah, I just thought since he can't be here tonight, I wanted
Right.
his voice to be heard.
Yeah, and I think
Right.
we did discuss that, and we came to the conclusion that because I brought up the percentage, and
Yeah,
it came to the conclusion that it would be hard to quote police that
Right.
accurately, so we went with just none, and we would leave it to because
Yeah.
somebody else had mentioned fencing and things. Well, that can all be done in the major site plan, and I hope in the future, if it's not this council, another council can look, and if somebody has a 200 square foot building and 1,700 acres of solar panels, they're probably putting a little too much solar for that building.
Well, if, like I said, if anyone has anything suggested changes to this, I would suggest you bring it to the committee of the whole meeting, because this here is just the second reading.
Right.
Yeah.
Bring it there and we can discuss
Good.
it again, or you can
Good.
bring it up under additional business at the
Good.
committee of the whole. And if Bill needs to rewrite some language or change some language, we definitely can do that if you want. But, council has any ideas, we're definitely open for whatever. Okay. And moving on, finally, our last piece of legislation for this evening, it's up for a second reading, is Resolution 22-2024. This is a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor of the Village of Commercial Point to enter into a contract effective immediately with Joshua Hall for services as magistrate for Mayor's Court and declaring an emergency.
Motion is
If we could
suspend.
add the discussion before the motion, please.
We can have a discussion right now. Yes.
Just to set the record straight, my no vote last time was to do my due diligence on Mr. Hall, as he's not an attorney from this county. And in the past, those haven't worked out. I have since done my due diligence. I think he will be a good fit. And at this point, I feel that it is a good thing to waive the readings and to do this in the best interests of our constituents.
I think we had an issue with our last magistrate. She was here for a while. She just got a promotion. So
Yeah, no.
to my knowledge, I don't think
Yeah,
we've
no,
had
she
an
was,
issue with
she
any
was,
magistrate
she was tops.
in the
Yeah.
past.
She was from Whitehall.
But we could have brought in the future, like we all talked, let's just bring it up and ask instead of just not voicing. Let's bring it up and ask if you have concerns. That way we don't have this.
No, it wasn't her. It was other ones for other villages that,
Also
weren't-
not here.
No, not here.
Okay,
No,
you
no,
made
no,
it
no,
insinuate
no.
it was here.
No.
I don't think we've had
No,
it. Okay.
because Franklin County does things a lot different than Pickaway County.
Right.
And the alignment with our municipal court judges has been an issue. So I just wanted to have a little time to do my due diligence. And that was the sole reason for my no vote. Not that I feel like I have to, but because it was brought up, I just wanted to, set the record straight as to I was doing what I felt was best at the time.
All you can do.
Okay. Any further discussion?
No, thank you.
Would council like to suspend the three readings? It's not necessary.
I think it is
But
necessary.
We can
Ross, you made a motion,
continue.
right?
I made the motion.
Okay. We have a motion by Ross to suspend the three readings. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Eric. Roll call vote to suspend the three readings.
Jay,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Andrea. Yes.
Motion passed. Is there a motion to adopt resolution 22-2024?
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Eric. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Sarah.
Yes.
Roll call vote to adopt.
Nancy,
Yes.
Ross.
Yep.
Sarah,
Yes.
Andrea. Yes. Jay,
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Motion passed. Moving on, we have no pending administrative action, additional business. Let's save that for the cow if we can. We'll go through that then. I do have one item for additional business. The Administration office received a request. First of all, we received an application for rezoning of 25 Harsh Alley. And the rezoning request is to rezone that from R3 to, which is residential, to general commercial.
Is that the old firehouse?
The old
Yep.
firehouse
Oh, okay,
is what
okay.
we're looking at. And the request was made to do the public hearing on October 21st, which would be, we have to put it in the newspaper for 30 days.
Mhm.
So the earliest we could do anything that the council will be getting together would be before the October committee of the whole meeting. And also they requested the council have a special meeting that night to do the first reading. Does anyone on council have an objection to that? I know in the past we typically have tried to do it before a regular council meeting, but we also have done before committee of the whole meetings.
Yeah,
So
yes. And that,
I just wanted to ask before I went and scheduled everything, does council have any objections to
You
that?
just tell me when I need to be here.
Okay,
I mean,
and
it's,
we will plan on in that same night, do we have another public,
No.
No.
The first one is October 7th.
October stuff? Okay,
so that'll give us 2 special meetings or 3 total meetings that month?
Yes.
Yes.
night.
that night, we'll have a public hearing, we'll have a special council meeting, and then we'll go into the committee of the whole meeting on October 21st. But also our next meeting, which is scheduled for October 7th,
7th.
we will be having a public hearing.
On a variance request for lot 5. And I'll put all that stuff in your boxes as well.
And that variance request will be in relationship to the Van Trust
Mhm.
and their stuff coming in, and we can discuss all that at the committee of the whole too. So they're going parallel tracks for a variance request and a major site plan.
Does one have to be done before the other?
No,
5 minutes.
yeah, 5 minutes
Oh, okay.
before.
So it's kind of like tonight. We just
No,
had to
no.
execute the signing and then you could do the other
Then
one.
those two will go hand in hand with each other.
Okay.
Part of their major site plan, actually, the variance request would have to be voted on prior to the major site plan being voted on, because if they don't get the variance, then the major site plan cannot be accepted.
Correct.
So we'll have all that for council at the next committee of the whole meeting. You can look through it and we'll discuss it, explain everything to
Pack a
you.
lunch at the committee of the whole meeting.
It's not that complicated. It's pretty simple. We've done them before. It's pretty short and simple.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any other additional business at this time?
Motion to adjourn.
Have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. This meeting is adjourned.